On the 25th of January 1966, filming for a Countess from Hong Kong began in Pinewood Studios, Buckinghamshire, England. At age 77, this was to be Charlie Chaplin's first film in 10 years, after 1957's A King in New York. He had written a draft for the script in the late 1930s under the working title The Stowaway, as a starring vehicle for his then wife, Paulette Goddard. This was the first film in colour and was the first film to be backed financially by Universal Studios. Chaplin was paid $600,000 director's fee as well as a percentage of the gross profits. The story follows Ogden Mears, the son of a wealthy oil tycoon. Aboard a ship from Hong Kong heading back to America, Ogden meets Russian stowaway Natascha. After learning of her troubled past, Ogden reluctantly agrees to help her, setting in train an unlikely relationship. Marlon Brando and Sofia Loren are cast as the leading roles. Distracted by his personal life and becoming more disillusioned with his career, Brando began to view acting as a means to a financial end. Mutiny on the Bounty nearly capsized MGM, and studios began to fear Brando's difficult reputation. In 1961, Brando uncharacteristically signed a 5-picture deal with Universal Studios that would haunt him for the rest of the decade. Patrick Cargill and Sidney Chaplin both star in supporting roles, and there's a brief cameo of Charlie as one of the ship's crew. The film also features Tippi Hedren playing Ogden's wife in her first feature film after a break with Alfred Hitchcock. Even though her part was small and Chaplin did not expand her role, she later said it was a pleasure to work with him. Loren also enjoyed working with Chaplin, but the same cannot be said for Marlon Brando. Both Brando and Loren had committed themselves to the project without knowing much other than its comedic situation. Chaplin's style of directing was to act out each role to be copied verbatim, and it soon became clear Brando's method approach would not be necessary. Brando said it made him feel like a glorified marionette. In Brando's 1994 biography, Songs My Mother Taught Me, he recalled Chaplin a fiercely cruel man, an egotistical tyrant, and a penny pincher. Things came to a head when Brando was late one day, and there are 2 accounts of what happened. In Brando's account, he arrived 15 minutes late, was berated by Chaplin in front of the whole crew, and threatened to walk away from the film unless he was given a full apology, in which Chaplin obliged. Jerry Epstein, the producer of A Countess from Hong Kong, presents a radically different account in his memoir, Remembering Charlie. According to Epstein, Brando turned up 2 hours late, was greeted by a furious Chaplin screaming at Brando, but no apology was given afterward. There is no mention of this event in Chaplin's book, My Autobiography, as it was released September 1964, 2 years before A Countess began filming. The film was released January 5th, 1967 and was a financial flop. Not even Brando and Loren's pulling power could help this. The critics were ruthless. The New York Times review for 17th of March 1967 stated, "If an old fan of Mr. Chaplin's movies could have his charitable way, he would throw the curtain fast on this embarrassment and pretend it never occurred." Chaplin was mortified. In a public statement, Chaplin lashed out at his English critics, calling them bloody idiots. Though the French critics were kinder, A charming romantic comedy was in direct contrast with the new generation of films. Bonnie and Clyde and The Graduate had been released that same year. It seemed the film represented the old generation's morals and view of the world. One can't help but think this could have been a picture shot without sound. Views have warmed in recent times with an overall rating of 60% on Rotten Tomatoes, and actors such as Sean Penn publicly praising the film. The only criticism I have of the film is the pajama chase scene. It went on too long and just came across awkward and stupid. This Is My Song, which Chaplin wrote for the film, reached number 1 on the chart, dated 16th of February 1967. The film was released on VHS in 1996 as part of the Universal Cinema Classics series. In 2003 it was released on DVD in widescreen format and later re-released as part of the DVD set Marlon Brando The Franchise Collection.